Okay, before start, engine pre-flight is complete. Passenger briefing is complete. Got that heat turned on there. Seats and seat belts, check. Fuel's on both. Mixture, we're going rich. 1/8 inch on the throttle. Carb heat's cold. Beacon's on. Parking brake is set. I have the brakes, actual parking brakes off. Avionics off. Primer, probably give it a half stroke here. She was just fired up over here to get some fuel, so let's just give her a little squeeze. That's in and locked. Master on. Area is clear. Tow bar's off. Chocks are all off. Area is clear. I'm looking around. I don't see anybody. Ignition start. Check oil pressure. Let's go for it. Clear prop. Spinning. Fires right up. Let's get to 1,000. Oil pressure's coming up in the green there. And let's lean our mixture out. She likes it about right there for taxi. We'll set it during the run up. Oil temp's coming up slowly. Just over quarter tanks on both, and our start time is 1302.1. Start tack is 6902.34. Okay, got it. All right, on to a 4 taxi checklist. Avionics on. All right, check there. Looks like audio's coming through, which is what we like. Go back to 4 flight here, and that's still running. All right. Sweet. Sometimes I forget to turn this thing on. Oh, it's so much better. Okay. Okay, iPad's connected. Instrument check complete. 0 on the airspeed, gyro spun up there. We're going to set that weather, but it's going to be around 4,800. Turn coordinator looking good. Gyro. Let's go ahead and set it to 340. Spin it over. There, 340. Vertical speed's noting -100, so that'll be our new 0. Lights is required. We go nav lights, close to sunset here. Taxi on. Radio's set. Proceed, confirm. 122.8, we're on Rexburg. Towers on standby and Idle Falls, we don't need that. 135.07 is our ASOS. Let's go ahead and get that.
03 Celsius. Dew point -08 Celsius. Altimeter 3022. Remarks. Density altitude 4,300.
That checks.
Rexburg, Madison County Airport, Rexburg, Idaho. Automated weather observation 2353 Zulu.
Hello.
Wind calm.
And calm.
Visibility 10. Sky condition broken 8,000.
Broken 8,000.
Temperature 03 Celsius.
Great.
Dew point -08 Celsius.
Right. Got that. ATIS is complete. Navigation not going anywhere. Alright, for our taxi here, we're going to flip around, go to 35 down there for winds calm. We will make that call at transponders on 1200. We'll do a brake test when rolling.
Expert traffic, Skyhawk 7354 Golf. At the fuel pumps, taxiing 235 to hold short, Rexburg.
Alright, moving here, let's do a quick brake test and not hit that fuel truck. There we are, clear. Tail's clear. Clear right and left, center, everything's clear. I got the whole place to myself, really. Alright. This airplane has a little whine through the engine when I spool it up and whatnot. I hope that's not coming through on the audio too bad, but that might be a downer. Alright, turn coordinator's working. A ball was going opposite there. That's showing level. Our compass looks like it's spinning on a good direction there. We should be southbound. Those are looking a little off, so let me set that again, and then during the run-up, I like to set it one more time. 19-0-ish. Cool, right on center line here. This would be a nice little sunset traffic pattern flight. I just plan on doing some left traffic for a while. Just doing some touch and go. It's been a long time since I've been in the left seat. I'm usually instructing in the right and not flying very much. So even as an instructor, it's important to get out there by yourself or, you know, with friends or whatnot and actually fly the plane. Actually get out there and, you know, make sure you're still proficient. Because it's too easy to just stay in the right seat forever and get used to not flying as much, you know. Get used to just, like, trying not to die and saving the airplane every once in a while. But it's important to get out there and be PIC, you know what I'm saying? So it's been forever since I've done a flight like this. It's going to be awesome. Alright, we'll stop right here for our run-up. Nobody's behind us. Like I said, whole area to ourselves. We're idling at 1,000. I got the brakes. Run-up. Wheels on both. Trim is set. For takeoff. Throttle, we're going up to 1700. I got the brakes. There is 1700. We're going mag check first. Spinning over to the right. Boop, boop. Ooh, a little jumpy. Going back to both. What I'm going to do here is enriching the mixture because I think it was just a little too lean for what those mags like. Let's go ahead and enriching the mixture up. Back to 1700. Let's go over to the right again because that was jumpy. I didn't like that. Much, much smoother. See that? About 75 RPM drop. Back to both. Alright, recovered. Now going left. Once again, 50 to 75. Awesome. Didn't exceed 125 within 50 of each other. Mag check's good. Cabin heat. Pull on that. No signs of carb icing. Little drop back up to 1700. Suction gauge reading over there. Just over the between 5 and 6. Amp meters are good and twitching if I move those flaps. Oil pressure and temps are good. Fuel's reading good. Temps are just above 1400 on the EGTs. That's where I like them. So mixture's good there. Engine instruments, ammeter, got all that. Let's go to idle now. Nice, easy down to idle. Should stabilize around 6 or 7. 6, 7, 6, 7. I'm sorry. It just comes out. Okay, stabilize there. Departure brief. For our departure, we're going to be, like I said, left traffic 35. 500 feet, I'm going to turn crosswind. We're going to go up to our pattern altitude of 5.8 there. Make our calls as necessary. And I like to do this. I like to pull up on my iPad here, go to aerial map, and I check the departure end of whatever runway I'm taking off of, especially if it's a new runway or a new environment. So off 35 here, our immediate options are some fields right over this grassy area that we can put her down on if we have a lose an engine or have any trouble there. Some nice fields there. Or if we're a little higher, maybe 500 feet-ish, we can shoot for US 20. It's Sunday, so it should be pretty quiet on the highway. Wouldn't be a bad place to put her down. If we're a little higher, we also got fields off to the left and right here to pivot on or turn as necessary. If we're somewhere around the 1,000-ish feet, you know, probably in downwind by that point, we can glide back to the runway. If there's anything that I don't like on takeoff roll, foreign object debris on the runway, engine troubles, whatever, we're going to close the throttle and stop straight ahead and abort the takeoff entirely. So departure brief here. Go ahead and do our before takeoff checklist. Make sure traffic is on. Okay. There we go. Doors and windows closed and locked on this side. Oh, see that? That's why we checked both sides. That one wasn't locked. Closed and locked. Flight controls free and correct. That one should go up. And that one's down. That one should go up. And that one's down. Tail. Elevator, excuse me. There's our rudder. Box them out. Everything's free and correct. View is on both mags. Set to both. Lights on. I'm going to do landing now. Nav, beacon, Flaps is required. Not going to set them, I'm just going to make sure that they're working nice and that the indicator's working. Okay, we are ready for takeoff. Left traffic 35, let's do it. I'm going to set that right there so I can get to it, and let's go ahead here.
Rexburg traffic, Skyhawk 7354 Golf is taking runway 35 for departure. Will be left close traffic, Rexburg.
Okay, I'm seeing that the approach end of 35 here is clear. Nothing on the runway. Made our call. Everything is good to go. Man, I love the way this airplane feels. Such a nice little plane. Okay, we're on 35. Let's do it. Heels to the floor, toes off the brakes. Let's get on center line. Slowly advance power to full. Nice smooth application. Everything felt great. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed's coming alive. Looking for 60 for that rotation. There's 60. And she's just going to pop right off the floor there. Little nose shimmy. Hit those brakes. Oh yeah. Holy cow. This thing just climbs like no joke with just me in it. I'm a pretty light guy, so I mean, holy crap. This thing is just a rocket. Which is funny. You know, I don't think anyone's ever called a 172 a rocket, but they're blasting off. Check this out. Climbing at 80 miles per hour here. We're getting 800 feet per minute. Just soaring up there. So like I said, here's US 20. Lost an engine right now. We're shooting for that. Or those fields right off my 12. Oh, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Alright, so there's about 500 feet. Let's go ahead and turn left crosswind. Keeping my eyes out for birds, traffic, anything that I don't want to run into.
Rexburg traffic, Skyhawk 54 Golf, turn left crosswind 35, Rexburg.
Woohoo! That is so pretty. Alright, level the wings here. Here's our crosswind. There's the runway. Going to keep this for a couple seconds, and then we are turning on down. I kind of like to follow this road in-ish. Be just to the left of this road. And look at that, we're already approaching pattern altitude. And I love this plane. Oh, it's just beautiful. There's 5.8. Let's go ahead and level off. Pitch, power, trim is a 3-step process I teach. Pitch first for nose level. Power back to the bottom of the green arc there. And then it usually needs a little nose down trim. A couple swipes there, and we're keeping 5.8.
Rexburg traffic, Skyhawk 54 Golf is left downwind runway 35, touch and go, Rexburg.
It is so smooth and pretty today. It just really doesn't get better than this. It really doesn't. Okay, engine's looking good, everything's in the green, fuel's good. Alright, gas set on both, lean, undercarriage down, and no brakes. Mixture set, props good, and seat belts are on. Alright, I'll beam the end of the runway here. What I'm going to do is pull the carb heat first, drop my power down to 1500 while keeping my nose up. I don't want to get too fast for those flaps, so let's go ahead and keep the nose up for a second. Let myself slow down in the flap arc. Once I do that, okay, below 100, I can start setting the nose down and setting 10 degrees. There's 10 degrees, and nose down. Now I'm just going to pitch for about 90 miles per hour. Trim is necessary. And we're just starting a nice little stabilized descent here down until we're ready to turn our base. Should be about 45 degrees from the runway. We'll turn our base here. And I like to follow this road in.
Rexburg traffic, Skyhawk 54 Golf, turning left base for 35, touch and go, Rexburg.
Oh yeah, man. Okay, and then on my base here, I'm going to shoot for 80 knots and then set some more flaps in 20. So there's about 20. We were already at about 15. And I'm just going to shoot for 80. I'm not really changing my power much, still at 1500. I'm just kind of using my pitch to capture those airspeeds. Final's clear. We're turning on the left final. Or excuse me, final. From the left base.
Rexburg traffic, Skyhawk 54 Golf is turning to final for 35, touch and go, Rexburg.
Alright, a little bit of an early turn there. So let's just round it out. I'd rather undershoot than overshoot when it comes to final. Okay. Now we're going to set in the rest of my flaps here, going all the way to 40. And the 30 to 40 jump is crazy. You can really feel it. Some nose down trim, and we're shooting for 70 for our final approach speed. There's about 70. Let that speed get too low. And the whole time, aiming point, airspeed, aiming point, airspeed. I'm aiming for the numbers, maybe a little bit before the numbers. And I kind of tend to have more of a shallower approach is what I typically like this. Full power to idle, right before the runway. Level the plane off and just wait for her to descend. There she goes, right there. We're just gonna touch down, flaps up. You gotta hold this one, it's kind of annoying. So we're gonna hold it, we got 3,000 feet remaining, plenty. They're up all the way. Visual check, carpet in, on center line and full. Engine's in the green. Airspeed's alive, looking for 60. There it is. Oh, she just feels awesome. Let's reset that trim here. Oh, she just feels awesome, man. Is that weird to say? I feel like it's kind of weird to say. The plane feels great. I always forget we have a little mirror here. What's up? It's kind of funny. It's like scrunching my eyebrows down.
Expert traffic, sky high 54 golfs on the go. Runway 35 left, close traffic, expert.
Alright, sweet. Climbing out 80. So my whole thing with content is, the idea here is I want to post long form content on YouTube, because as a student pilot, I loved watching like full length flights of like people just flying around, because you get so much from like watching the raw footage of someone flying an airplane, you know, not the like super edited cut out stuff that you see all the time, but rather, you know, just some dude going up and doing traffic patterns. I remember seeing Mr. Aviation 101's video of him doing traffic patterns in a Skyhawk, and that video went like viral. Not that I'm like trying to go viral necessarily, but that sort of content I think is very valuable. And then I'll take snippets of this flight, like the key points, and post them on, you know, short form content platforms.
Rexburg traffic, sky high 54 golfs left, down 135, touch and go, Rexburg.
Alright, so let's level off at 5.8 here. And one thing I want everyone to know is, I'm a CFI, right? I teach for a living, but I'm not perfect. I make a ton of mistakes all the time, but I try to be as safe as possible, and I try to be the best pilot I could possibly be. So just, you know, that's the human nature of flying, right? There's always going to be mistakes and accidents and what's not, but we want to be as safe as possible. And so if you ever have any tips, drop them down below in the comments, and I'll be happy to learn, you know. Good pilot's always learning. Alright, coming to beam our point here on 3.5. There it is. Let's go ahead, carb heat. Power back to 15. Now we're slowing down. There's below 100. Set 10 degrees. There it is, and we're just pitching front 90. And I didn't do my gumps because I was yapping back there, so let's just check my fuel, gas, undercarriage, mixture, prop, seatbelts, all good. Alright, so yep, pitching for 90, 10 degrees flaps, and I'm just letting myself descend here, a nice stabilized descent. About 45 degrees prior, lined up with this row. Let's go ahead and turn base. The left rudder there. And then as I'm turning base, I'm kind of slowing my plane down to 80 now, and I'm going to set in 20 degrees flaps. There's 20, 80.
Expert traffic, sky high 54 golfs left base 3.5, turning to final for 3.5, touch and go, Rexburg.
Final is clear. We're in final here. And as I go to final, we're going to go 30 degree flaps here in just a second. Actually, let's go all the way down to 40 again. Low 100. Oh, we feel that. I mean, of course you don't because you're watching through the screen, but I feel that. The drag, man, that just comes on at those 40 degrees. It's awesome. Okay, there's 70. We're going to capture our glide slope. We're coming in on 70. Aiming point. Once again, I kind of aim pretty much for the beginning of the runway here. I slowly start walking out this power. Slowly walk it out. I'm going to idle, and now I'm just going to pick my nose up to level, and then the airplane's going to want to descend as it does that and bring the nose up more and more. There it is. RP's in, flaps are still working their way up. I see them up visually on center line. We're full power, 2,500 feet remaining. Engine's good, in the green, airspeed alive. There's 60. Whoop, popping her up. Reset the trim. Oh yeah.
Expert traffic, Skyhawk 54 Golf's on the go for left traffic 35, Expert.
Everything's looking great, feeling great. Literally could not be a better day to fly. Oh my gosh. It's days like this where you just have to count your blessings and be grateful, you know? Alright, there's about 500 feet. Let's go ahead and turn left crosswind. Working in a tiny bit of left rudder there. About 20 to 30 degree bank. Keeping it at 80. Always looking outside the plane, scanning for traffic. Birds. There's a lot of birds out here. I've had some close calls at Rexburg, so. Let's follow that in. Alright, let's go for a power off 180. It's been a long time. I might completely embarrass myself here, but we'll learn. We'll learn.
Rexburg traffic, Skyhawk 54 Golf's left downwind, runway 35, Rexburg.
Alright, there's 5-8 pitch, power, about 75%, and trim. A little bit of nose down there, and we're just on downwind. Gas, undercarriage, mixture, prop, and seat belts. Jumps complete. Okay, so let's aim for, I'm going to say second stripe's my point. That being said, aim for the 3.5-ish on the numbers. And then I plan to be at about 70 miles per hour, maybe 65 even, crossing the 3.5 there. So there's my point. I'm going to go carb heat on, power off completely. Okay, power is idle. And I'm going to pitch my nose up here. Best glide is 75 in this airplane. So I'll go to about 80 or 75. And then I just kind of like to start nosing in to the runway here a little bit. That way I don't get too far. And that way I can keep it in my sight at all times. I might completely embarrass myself here. Let's see. That's me.
Rexburg traffic, Skyhawk 54 Golf is left base 35, short approach for touch and go on 35, Rexburg.
Okay, so I can already tell I have way too much energy right now. So I'm going to set in 10 degrees flaps right now. Still, speed's good at 80 there. Wind's calm. I'm going to slip here, going to final. Let's do a little left wing down slip. Pull that out, set full flaps. Oh, we are way too high, boys. We are way too high. Nope, we're going to go around. Carb heat in, power full. Don't let that nose shoot up. Let's take out 10 degrees immediately. Getting that nose up. No longer descending. Work up those flaps.
Vector traffic, Skyhawk 54 Golf is going around for left traffic 35, Vector.
Okay, so what did I say earlier, right? I'm not perfect. And it's been a long time since power off 180. So what happened there is I didn't manage my energy, I didn't manage my energy correctly. And so I came in way too high and fast. Now, could I have put the airplane down on the runway? Absolutely. Could I have done it on my spot? No way. I was going to overshoot. And I wasn't willing to just bomb a slip in there with full 40 degree flaps. Because this airplane does not like that. It starts to buff it really bad. So let's try that again. Everything's all good. Let's go ahead and try that again. And this time, let's learn from my last mistake. And maybe come out a little wider right? Don't turn that base too early. Or set in 10 degrees right away, right, of flaps. We're super, super light today. We don't have a lot of fuel, and I'm pretty light. We also, it's pretty cold, so we got great, you know, performance and everything. Density altitude is really, really low. All right, there's 5.8 pitch power trim while we're in this turn.
Expert Travis Sky 54 Golf is turning left down runway 35 for a short approach. Expert.
All right, Gumps, gas, undercarriage, mixture, prop, and seatbelts. All good. All right. Yep, so same thing as last time. Second stripe is the point at which I want to put the airplane down on. The third stripe, or sorry, the numbers, 3-5 numbers is where I'm kind of aiming. And so once we're at beam our point here, we'll go ahead and there's second stripe. I'm going to pull the carb heat out and then just work that power idle. Not too fast, not anything crazy. There it is, power idle. Okay, and then just kind of keep my level pitch for a second. I'm not going to immediately nose down, right, or yank up. I'm just going to kind of hold the airplane where it's at so I can slow down to a better glide and then judge my airspeed here. So, like last time, I learned I cut in too early. So let's widen out the base a little bit this time. We'll just widen it out.
Expert Travis Sky High 54 Golf turning left base 35 short approach to touch and go. Expert.
This is looking a little better. Now, I can already tell I'm going to have a ton of energy, so let's go 10 degrees now. There we go. I keep making that little noise. It's kind of dumb. Oh, this is looking much better. Much better. Okay, we're about 75 now, best glide. I know at this point, I'm pretty much guaranteed to make the runway. So now it's just a matter of timing our flap usage and all that. There honestly might even be a tailwind here. Final. I'm going to set in. There's about almost full flaps pitching down from my spot.
Expert Travis Sky 54 Golf short final 35 touch and go. Expert.
And check this out. So I got almost pretty much full flaps here, and I'm just aiming down a little bit before my aiming point here, before 35. I'm going to get in ground effect right over this fence. Getting ground effect, and I'm just going to hold it here for my second stripe. There's one, there's two, and right there. A little past the second stripe, but we have 200 feet for commercial tolerances there. Lap strap, carb heat in, center line power pole. Engines in green. Let's go 60, there it is. And she just pops off the ground, I love it. Okay, so let's talk about that one. I was not at the beginning of the stripe. I'd say I was at the very, very end of that stripe there is when I touched down. A stripe typically is about 125 feet, and we have, if I'm not mistaken, we have 200 feet there. So I definitely hit it in terms of my margin there. It could have been planted down a little sooner though. But that's a little example there of how we manage our energy. It was way better that time than the first time, right? So that's why we practice them, learn from our mistakes. Coming up on about 500. Let's go ahead and turn crosswind. Super fun though, super fun, and so good for you. I mean, nothing's gonna teach you how to manage the energy of an airplane more than power off 180s, in my opinion. And it's something that you can just practice over and over and over again. That and engine failures. Oh, check that out. Just absolutely beautiful. All right, let's make this a full stop. And we'll pack it up. Yeah, man. I was so distracted by the pretty sunset, I blew past my 5.8 there. Let's go pitch power trim. And I'm going to also allow myself to send down a little bit.
Rexburg traffic, Skyhawk 54 Golf, left down 135, full stop Rexburg.
There we go, back to my 5.8. I mean, you can't blame me. Look at that. Look at it reflecting off the clouds like that. It's so pretty. It's like a rainbow on those, on the sky there. It's incredible. All right. Gas, undercarriage, mixture, props. Seatbelts are on. Let's go ahead, carb heat. Pull back to about 1500. Keeping that nose up to slow down below 100. Now we can go 10 degrees flaps and let that nose kind of fall. And then shoot for 90. I think my GoPro's gonna die soon, not gonna lie. Start this base turn in and slow down to 80.
Rexburg traffic, Skyhawk 54 Golf, turning left base 35, full stop Rexburg.
There's 20 and slow down to 80. Final looks clear. The runway looks clear. There's 80 miles per hour. And see how it just keeps us a constant descent here. Let's go ahead and turn final. As I turn final here, we're slowing down to 70. And I pick up the nose a little bit, but never pull that nose up, especially in a turn like that when we're this low. Let's go full flaps. There's those 40s. Say goodbye to the sunset. And now we're pinning our nose on 70. So remember, attitude, up and down with my pitch here, that controls my airspeed. Power controls my glide slope, up and down with the altitude. If I need to get lower, I'm going to pull some power. Keep my nose down on that 70 there. As I'm coming in, I'm just going to bring the power to idle right before the threshold. There's idle. Slowly round off my nose to level. And then as we get slow, there's the stall horn. There it is. Hit on those brakes just a little bit. Put the flaps up. Just because I wanted to slow down a little faster. I brought those flaps up. Gets more weight on the wheels. And we're turning off. That sunset's beautiful.
Rexburg traffic, Skyhawk 54 Golf, clear of 35, taxiing back to the southwest hangars, Rexburg.
Alright, after landing checklist, wing flaps are up, carb heat's cold, mixture is set. Clear left and right and center. Work our way over here. So there you go. There's some traffic patterns, right? Not too bad. Like I said, I want some long form content to post on YouTube, and then I'll probably dice some of this up and post it on something like Instagram. But just for a learning tool, right? People can see how I fly and how I instruct. Everyone flies and instructs a little bit differently. Everyone has their own different preferences when it comes to stuff like the traffic pattern or power off 180s, right? Like power off 180s it's such a style. Like people develop their own way of doing it. There's not necessarily a right or wrong way, but there's, you know, more effective and less effective. And then, you know, showing you my mistakes too. Like I totally busted that first power off 180. Like way too high, way too fast, did not manage my energy correctly, right? So showing that kind of stuff, right? Of like, okay, well that was a mess up. Let's go ahead and correct that and learn from it, right? Up to our hangar here. Parallel. Back up to 1,000. And shutdown checklist. After landing, we just did that. Shutdown power 1000. Lights off. Landing beacon nav. Avionics off. See you on the other side.